And we are back, guys, and this loading screen is about to go up, so we'll talk a little bit more about matchups here as we get into this loading screen with my good buddy Cumley here, my partner over at League Nation, our incredibly hilarious show that we run on Monday nights. I believe we're going to have Elements as a guest this week on League Nation, and Muffin Cutie recently also expressed an interest in being on the show, so you guys should definitely check it out on ggChronicles' YouTube channel, where you're also going to get all of the VODs for this tournament. So if you missed anything, go back, check it out.
I veto Muffin Cutie. He's an awful person.
You're just not a fan of his, huh?
Yeah, no, he's the second best Leon in the world, though. Lemon God is number one. He's a close second.
A close second, huh? So we have the teams. We have some pings going down. Looks like we're going to see Curse just trying to flank and go for the line of scrimmage approach here on the river in their south jungle. Meanwhile, we're also going to see, looks like not an invade from either team, as TSM.Evo is just going to sit there at their own blue and play it a bit safe with this Malphite. So no shenanigans this time. Curse has a lot on the line here. They will not be able to qualify for next weekend in any circumstance if they lose this game.
Yeah, so definitely a lot on the line here. They have to kind of balance playing it safe and really wanting to get the win with making those plays that they have to make in order to win. You know, if you play too passively, if you think, oh, if we die here and we gauge here and we ruin it, we lose the game, we're out of the tournament, you can't play like that. You have to play confident. You have to play like you're going to win the game, and it's a foregone conclusion that you're going to win. So just play it well, go make those plays, do really solid things, and you'll come out ahead.
Indeed, and I'm trying to check around here. It looks like we see, interestingly, a Cloth 5 start for Westrice, so it looks like he's just doing that, I guess, for the extra potions, considering that, of course, Kennen isn't going to be doing a terrible large amount of AD here. Let's just check on his stats real quick and see if we can figure out anything interesting about his build. Nope, doesn't look like we're going to be seeing much from that end, but, yeah. I'm a bit surprised to see the Cloth 5, but other than that.
Whole lot of potions. Whole lot of potions going on.
And now we have a pause coming in. Not sure what that's about. Looks like Mundo just popped his first potion. And in terms of other items, looks like we're seeing pretty standard fare here. So we're just going to have to wait for a few minutes while these guys figure out what exactly is going on. I'm not sure if somebody has some connection issues or what the deal is.
Yeah, apparently a little bit of lag. They should resolve that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I'm interested to see that Mundo's going for the blue buff first as opposed to the more traditional red buff, followed by a gank right there onto bottom lane. But perhaps he wants to move up very quickly into the northern jungle of TSM.Evo and try and steal some stuff before Malphite can get there. Of course, Mundo will be a significantly faster jungler than Malphite, so he should have a lot of opportunities to pick off some of the creeps.
Yeah, you know, it does seem like more and more often people are very inclined to worry about the positioning of the jungle much more than which buff they're getting first, you know. Regardless of what jungle you're playing, unless they're blue dependent, in which case you kind of have to start with blue. Much more of the time you're willing to do those kind of things like start blue on Shyvana or Dr. Mundo, just because the positioning is so much better to be in that top hemisphere of the map, because bottom, pretty difficult to actually gank early.
That's true, of course, and especially, you know, it's better to be in the top, especially if you're blue, because generally the jungler has a lot more difficult time on blue side dealing with top lane. Top lane, in case you guys don't know, is a few seconds actually further in terms of walking distance from mid lane than bottom lane is from mid lane, and because blue side has, oh, there we go, Aphromoo is disconnecting. I know he's had some DDoS issues in the past, so I sincerely hope that nothing is happening to him during this tournament. That would be really unfortunate. I can hear the chat going down, but I'm not sure exactly what's being said. We cannot see it. But in any case, what I was saying about blue jungle is that it's very hard to gank top lane if you're on blue side and you're jungling, just because of the extra distance, and also because you just generally don't spend as much time as a jungler in the side with the fewer camps. And of course, if you're on purple team, if you're on top, then your bottom lane generally doesn't need as much jungle support, and your bottom lane won't snowball as hard from those kills. So, you know, top lane's a lonely lane, but top lane's an especially lonely lane if you're playing it on blue team.
Yes, that is quite true. And of course, we've seen time and time again, you know, the jungler that is able to secure early kills or early pressure, even or just early aggression, you know, really making the other person feel uncomfortable, just makes a huge difference, not only in the lane, but in the game as a whole. And if top lane is able to snowball and bottom lane is like even, it becomes very, very difficult at that point for the other team to adapt, because they really have to pick where they want to spend their resources, and there's not a really great answer to that question. The chat has absolutely nothing to do with the DC, so we're gonna have to wait here for the reconnect.
Yeah, you know, I'm really liking actually TSM.Evo's comp here. I think they have a ton of initiation potential with Malphite and Kennen's Lightning Rush into a Slicing Maelstrom, and they also have a really good amount of poke with Ezreal and Kennen. You know, I feel like they can both initiate into fights while both being highly mobile as well. You know, they've got Swain, which deals a lot with the CC, and they can protect Ezreal extremely well. He should be flashing around the back no problem and getting great positioning in these fights. I just don't see with Janna as well protecting him that anyone's really going to be able to get back to Aphromo. He should be able to pull some flashy plays with this team comp for sure, because his team will have no problem locking them down and keeping them away from him.
Yeah, that is a very good point to make. You know, we talked earlier about kind of building a team around things, and Ezreal has a lot of protection right now. He really does. You know, between the Janna pushing people away, the Kennen kind of zoning an entire area of the fight with that ultimate, he's got a lot of room to work within that positioning and do a lot of work during the team fights.
You know, the combination in bot lane that Curse is running, Corki Nunu, is not one that I see particularly often. That's a little bit of a bizarre, you know, matchup. Normally with Corki, you know, you mostly see more Leona, you see more Taric, because you can get those burst in early game with Corki for that high aggression. You know, Corki generally, you know, you can level the P-bomb, or you could, you know, end with Gatling gun. And here we go, Aphromo is back, so hopefully we will be on track now. He has his problems fixed. But anyway, I don't know if I've ever actually seen this lane combination before. Have you?
I'm trying to think. I mean, when you see Nunu, I tend to think Vayne. Vayne is the first thing that comes to mind when I think of Nunu. But for some reason, we've been seeing him more and more lately. I know he did have some tweaks and things like that to try to make his jungler more effective, and we have seen that kind of, for whatever reason, translate to a lot more Nunu supports. I don't know if it's just people kind of focusing on the champion again and realizing, hey, this is actually really powerful and this steroid is very, very good. But like you said, you know, Corki Nunu, not the most common thing in the world.
Yeah, and Nunu also, of course, excellent with Kog'Maw. And interestingly, what I've learned today is something I've never seen before either, which is that Leona, or not Leona, excuse me, Miss Fortune Nunu has been run all day in this tournament by Team Dynamic, and that combo has been amazingly effective, just devastating in that bot lane. Her trades, Miss Fortune's trades, are extreme with that damage buff, with her already, you know, powerful early game. When you build that fast wriggles on her, I mean, she can just bully around the AD and support in bottom lane with Nunu sitting there, ice blasting the other AD carry, so buffing her attack speed while lowering theirs. And with the extra armor you get from that wriggles, and with, you know, kind of double up and make it rain, it really does just a sickening amount of damage. I was actually really inspired by seeing that bottom lane from Team Dynamic. I kind of want to go try it now.
Yeah, and Miss Fortune's always kind of been the kind of AD carry that's been searching for her niche a little bit. You know, she has places where she's played in lower level games, especially. Miss Pudding runs her about 98% of her matches, but it's nice that she's kind of found a competitive niche lately, which is, of course, that new Miss Fortune lane, which is really fun to watch. Plus, I just love new ultimates. It just make me so excited every time I see the giant area go off.
They are really, really exciting. Of course, that's another reason why he's a great combination there with Kog'Maw and to protect the Cog comp. You know, I do feel just a little bit more, I suppose, concerned with the synergy. And we have a pause coming out here, so a little bit more concerned with the synergy of Curse in late game. I just don't see the same kind of strategy that I perceive in TSM.Evo's comp right now. Of course, it is going to be speeding up the attack speed of Corki, and Corki can be devastating in late game play with the true damage from this passive. And they do have a lot of meat in front of him, so it's definitely viable. Yeah. I see the strategy very clearly, I feel, with TSM.Evo's comp, and less so with Curses.
Yeah, but you know, like you said, that is a good point, where they're going to have a lot of really beefy targets kind of leading that front wall of the fight, really kind of zoning people away. And the nice thing about Corki is he does have that really nice Valkyrie. Now, he's able to reposition himself very well in team fights, kind of similar to a Tristana, where she can actually move around in the team fights, which makes her very, very strong. Of course, he doesn't have her ridiculous range by the end of the game, but it's pretty nice.
Without that early aggression, we had that long pause, so sorry about that, guys, but it looks like Aphromo is A-OK and back on track, so that's going to be I feel very comforted by that fact that we're not going to lose it to some DDoS. And now we're going to see some level 2 aggression here in bot lane as a P-bomb goes down, and that blood-boiled Corki looking a little scary. So you can see there was a timing there. Cop and Pobelter knew at level 2 that they were going to be chasing down that Ezreal. They gave it a try, but Aphromoo and Nat were definitely onto them, and no dice on that kill.
Yeah, we did see a nice little timing there on the Janna shield, was able to kind of absorb that second hit, which would have chunked him down quite a bit, and she's going to have to keep doing that. She's really going to have to, every time they go in for this harassment, kind of just hope that she's shielding the right targets at the right time and absorbing enough damage to really keep them full. Because, of course, Janna, you know, doesn't have that kind of innate heal. But thankfully, neither does Nunu.
Right. And this leads me to believe that we might be seeing a very aggressive bot lane here for both teams. I wouldn't be surprised to see some ganks from both junglers, given the utter and total lack of sustain. Somebody's going to get low eventually, and somebody's going to slip up, and I'm sure either Malphite or Mundo is going to be there to kind of take it home. And Unstoppable looks like he's going to be setting up for a gank here in top lane, and Westrice is very out of place. He gets the shard down on him as well as the lightning rush, and he will go down to Malphite for first blood to that double buff. Very nicely timed there, and Darius, one of his big drawbacks, he's got no escapes.
Yeah, I mean, that was always kind of the answer that people presented. When people were like, Darius is OP, he's so hard to handle, and it was like, well, just go kill him. Just your jungler can just walk up and kill him, like straight up murder him. And there's very little that he can do, and we're seeing it right there. We're seeing it play out. And so now the question is, how much harder does Malphite have to even, you know, camp top? Or now does Kennen have a sufficient advantage where he can just kind of keep the pressure up himself? And now Malphite is available for mid lane to put a lot of pressure mid to try to get something going down bottom. We're going to have to see if Darius can kind of bounce back from this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be really hard, I think, for him to come back into this top lane now. I think that Unstoppable is actually going to run into Westrice again right here, and are we going to see a shard? He's going to be able to catch up with those double buffs, and the answer is no. He gets a little decimate to the face in return, but you do see him drop that ward, so he's going to be protecting his teammate Wings of Death a little bit up there as well.
Yeah, so currently a 33-9 CS battle here on top. Of course, Westrice not having much time to actually be in that lane. He's a little bit busy being dead, and he's going to have to come back, and he's going to have to try to get as much CS as he can, as quickly as he can. And
let's take a look at Malphite here. He already has, Unstoppable already has his first gold per 5 item, so that's going to be quite early. He got it before 5 minutes. So that's going to really help him out into the late game, as he's just going to be able to stack up the fat loot from that gold per 5, that Philo Stone, and get more items as the game progresses.
Yeah, it looks like Mundo trying to come up here, trying to set something up, but of course that ward does spawn him. Kennen gonna be able to back off in an appropriate time, wants to try to get at least, you know, one little CS here if he can squeeze it in, but it doesn't look like he's gonna have that opportunity, and Dr. Mundo just gonna have to go ahead and back off at this point.
Yeah, and a great ward there placed by Unstoppable to see Saint Vicious coming in. And looks like Saint, we have a ping going down on Salsi. Looks like they know that Saint is coming over there as well. They saw him walking on the north side of the river with that ward, so they probably can guess Salsi is going to have no problem getting out of it. Dodges the cleaver, and that's going to be another little bit of wasted time for Saint Vicious, where he could have been leveling. Unfortunately for Saint, he was not able to secure any kind of kills or even get any damage on the lanes to help his lanes out.
Yeah, so the next kind of timing I'm going to be looking for personally is once this Malphite hits level 6. You know, that ultimate, very scary to deal with. Of course, it is one of the better initiation spells in the game. Just so difficult to actually deal with. We're going to see where he chooses to use it. Is he going to try to use it to camp top a little bit harder? Is he going to try to secure a kill on this Rise? Again, Rise doesn't have any kind of innate movement. You know, he doesn't have some kind of blink or anything. He's a little bit of a speed boost on his ultimate, and that's about it, so he's pretty vulnerable. Or does he want to go for something like a double kill bottom? We're going to have to see, and he is approaching that level 6 mark pretty quickly here.
And if we take a look at Wings of Death, he has actually gone back and picked up Sorcerer's Shoes and Doran's Shield. So he's going to be just going and aiming to sustain in this lane, as well as going for some pretty effective trades. Let's take a look at Westrice real quick. He has 50 MR, but that's going to be cut down pretty significantly by Runes and Masteries and those new Sorc Shoes on Wings of Death. So good there. He should be able to trade very effectively if Darius chooses to approach him, and then he should be able to heal right back up. So he's pretty much, I think, looking to stay in lane, looking to sustain at this point, and looking to CS.
Yeah, it does look like now Jack is trying to go ahead and give this lane a nice big push so he can go and grab his blue without missing too much CS. And so we're going to have blue versus blue battle here mid. Not terribly exciting. The Rise versus Swain matchup.
No, I think actually this matchup is relatively dull in general, just because you're going to see a lot more farm and no big pushes from really either champion. We might see some pushes now that sulci is 6 and has blue, but Swain's ganks, not the greatest in the world. Kind of risky with that skill shot route that has that bit of a delay on it. And some trades going down here in bot lane in the meantime, and it looks like Rise might be going for a gank, but they are going to see him with a well-placed ward from Nat. So that ward almost expiring too, so it came just in the nick of time for TSM.Evo to see that roaming gank about to happen, and it looks like Nijak is just going to be heading back into mid.
Yeah, we do now have that level 6 Malphite that we talked about just a little bit ago. Gonna have to go ahead and see where he chooses to go next, where his next big gank is gonna be at. And it looks like he might be trying to sneak into the brushes up here top. Sneaky snake.
Oh, this is a little bit interesting, because I think that Westrise thought that Wings of Death was going into bot lane, so he's really not going to expect that Unstoppable is trying for a lane gank right now, but he is actually just going to go back, it looks like. So, no, it looks like we're not going to see any big prize for TSM.Evo or another kill for Unstoppable. And take a look at the wards in the river. They have pretty much complete vision, and they're watching for St. Vicious to go into their jungle, I believe, with those wards, just to see if they can catch him out, I think, so that sulci can rotate up and Wings of Death will be able to come in and pinch him off if he chooses to come into the top jungle of TSM.Evo.
Yeah, that would definitely be a very strong play. That is a good call right there. And just, having that side advantage just makes them feel so much more safe. They can really be confident in their farming. And one of the concepts a lot of people see in top lane is you just have to kind of assume that you're not being ganked by the jungler a lot of times. So you're playing that confidence. You're making those trades you need to make, and you're getting that CS. But you see right now, we actually see Darius having to go all the way back and around just to not take too much harassment from Wings of Death on this Kennen.
Yeah, we had a bit of a trade going on, a very, tete-a-tete trade here for sulci and Nijak in mid lane, both of them reducing each other to about half HP. And now we have Aframu. It looks like we're going to get a ping from Unstoppable. Looks like they actually want Cop and Pobelter to push them into turret so that Malphite can surprise them from this Nook by Tribe Rush with his ult. Let's see if Aframu can bait him into this and see if they're actually going to be willing to come into turret. And yes, here comes the Tornado and the Zephyr, and we see the Mystic shots going down. There he goes with Essence Flux, and a flash from Pobelter out of Unstoppable Force will cause him to miss, and an ult will take down Pobelter. Really nice series of moves right there. Beautiful flash by Pobelter to nullify Unstoppable's ult. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough, and they did manage to catch them just a little bit pushed too far up and playing a little bit aggressively, where they were baited into that by TSM very, very hard.
Yeah, it was a very nice job, and that's the danger of kind of pushing up into this kind of comp. You see how far he's able to actually move with that Malphite ultimate. It's very quick, and you're able to flash away from it, but then you have no flash. And they were able to just burn him down with pure damage, and he was in a very awkward position even right after that flash.
Really, and just a gorgeous combo there by Aframu, too. You could tell that, his level of skill with Ezreal coming in, timing that Arcane Barrage, perfectly to pick up that kill after moving through his Mystic Shot and Essence Flux and Arcane Shift in, just kind of a 1-2-3 manner, and using that flash to really get up there and get all up in the grill of Curse's bottom lane.
All up in the grill.
All up in the grill.
I like it. I like it. So now we do have Oracle's Elixirs on both junglers. Mundo got his a little bit before that Malphite, but after that gank, he figured it was a good time to go ahead and pick it up. We do have Rise being a little bit adventurous here in the red team's jungle.
Yeah, check this out. Unstoppable, already has his second gold per 5 item and his Ninja Tabi and an Oracle, so he's really going to be a menace now. With that kill, with that assist, and with that early gold per 5, he's managed to get, typically, you can get, if you're a jungler, you can get your oracles at the 8 to 10 minute mark with 1 gold per 5, but he's managed to do it just a little bit later with level 2 boots. So that's extremely impressive, and will give a really unprecedented level of map control to TSM.Evo.
Yeah. Something to note here in the bottom lane, we do have double Faith picked up on both Corki and Ezreal. Ezreal having that Sheen as well. But, whoever gets a proc on that Phage is going to have an opportunity to put out a lot of harassment. It's really going to kind of force a little bit of action. Anytime you get one of those procs, if you want to push the action from there. So we're going to have to keep an eye out. Of course, it's not a guarantee, but when those procs happen, you have to be very quick to actually take advantage of that slow.
Right, and you have to be able to see it too, which can be a little bit difficult to both register that and, you know, follow it up. So there we see an ult, an Unstoppable Force coming out of Unstoppable, and they have caught Pobelter trying to ward Dragon, and they will go down. Aphromoo picking up another kill. He's now 2-0 with 100 CS at 13 minutes. That will be a free Dragon now that they are able to take down that ward with that Oracles from Unstoppable. And yet we have Darius moving in here. Kennan's going to be a little late, so we will have a 4-on-4 engagement here. Let's see if they can pull it out. Nightjackie looking pretty good, and they're just going to leave that Dragon. So probably a wise move. Just to not fall any further behind. And I wonder if Curse is going to take the risk of doing Dragon themselves right now.
Yeah, I don't know if they want to do it now that it would be a 4 versus 5 against Curse's favor. They're going to have to go and back out. It was a really bit of an awkward timing where the blue buff was up for Evo, and so they didn't really want to press a fight. They didn't want to lose a fight and lose both Dragon as well as their blue buff. There's just too much risk to put on the table, but now it looks like they're going to try to force the matter. They do have a lot of damage going on to that Dragon. It looks like they're going to at least force a team fight right here.
Yeah, oh boy, this is going to be a big one, I think. Let's see if St. Vicious is actually going to be able to steal this Dragon. Is the smite up? And here we go, coming in right now, and Slicing Maelstrom going in all onto Curse's team, and the Absolute Zero catching a bunch of players in it, and it looks like Curse is actually going to come out on top in this one. They've already killed 3 members of TSM.Evo, and that will even up the score right now. Wow, impressive. Going from a 3-0 deficit into a 4-4 tie, going 4-for-1, and then taking Dragon, and they are dead even, and Curse will pull ahead by 1,000 gold with that Dragon fight. And let's go ahead and actually rotate back and take a look at that again, guys, because that was a very exciting fight. Super impressive. So here you can see that we have this really nice ult by Wings of Death, with that Absolute Zero, Pobelter kind of isolating Kennen into the back, able to pick him off and focus down extremely well with Corki and Rise. Their burst damage just chunking people and blowing them up, taking them out of the fight one by one, while Pobelter sacrifices himself to zone out the team. So really nice work there. So we're going to go ahead and step it up to real time. I take it that probably nothing much happened. Some laning.
There was a red buff taken by Malphite, which is very exciting. But no, like you said, I mean, we just saw Salsi get caught out a little bit, just a little bit caught out, and he took about 4/5 of his HP, and it really put him in an awkward position. And from there, they were just able to like really press the matter. They were really able to go into the team fight, do a lot of damage, burn him down. He wasn't that huge AoE damage presence that you want him to be. The very difficult to kill, doing a lot of damage, doing a lot of snaring and things like that. He just kind of got burned down, and there wasn't much he could do from there.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really well-coordinated fight, and Wings of Death had a great ult, but Pobelter really pulled it out, I think, with that Absolute Zero, and nailed it for his team. Just great positioning, great decision-making, sacrificing himself in order to prevent TSM.Evo from getting back to Rise and Corki, while they were able to just pick off Kennen extremely quickly.
Yeah, and Nuno will not stop spamming his taunt, which is adorable. Don't get me wrong.
I think he's very proud of himself after that last fight. We are going to see a gank here. Unstoppable coming with Unstoppable Force. Slicing Maelstrom going down. Lightning Rush stunning. Looks like Westrice, he will be going down right there. There was an Ignite on him as well. And that red buff will be slowing him enough for Wings of Death to pick him off. So there's another kill onto Wings of Death. He is now 2-1-1, 5-kill advantage, and we have now a less than 1,000 gold difference. So very close, very exciting game so far.
Yeah, definitely a good game so far. We've seen a lot of good plays here from this Malphite. He's been a very big presence so far in the game, and it's just going to continue to be that way. These team fights are going to be really large, AoE ultimates. There's going to be a lot of action, a lot of movement going on, and I'm really excited to see how the team fights go from here.
Yeah, interestingly, taking a look at Kop's build right now, you can see he's already picked up a pickaxe, so I guess he's going to be doing a delayed Trinity Force build, getting that Phage, getting that Sheen, and then building Infinity Edge, which is interesting. I don't typically see this, so...
What?
I'm saying the Trinity Force build, the delayed Trinity Force build that's happening on Kop, where he's transitioning into iEdge without completing Trinity Force, is a little bit odd.
Gotcha. Yeah, I feel like he's actually had that pickaxe for a long time. I might be lying to you right now, but that's what I feel like.
Well, I know he picked up Phage first, so I'm sure the chat will be willing to tell us how wrong I am if they notice anything different. But I do think that build is just a tad bit odd. You know, getting Phage first, obviously good for lane sustain and keeping alive. And this lane has been kind of a meat grinder, and Afro just getting bursted down by that rocket. Wow, doing a lot of damage to Corky. And looks like Curse is determined to end this laning phase where Malphite has been such a nuisance to them.
Yeah, well, you saw just how careful Afromoon has to be playing against that lane. They're able to put out a tremendous amount of burst on him, and he can get burned down very, very quickly. So he's always going to have to be very careful with his positioning. If he gets caught out, he will get absolutely dissolved. You know, that shift distance is great, but it's not that long. And if you get caught out enough, they're going to be able to finish you away from that distance anyway.
Right, and he did switch up to that Ignite Flash from the initial... Oh, and we have a gank coming down here on top lane. Say Vicious going in, and the Apprehend going in on Wings of Death. Slicing Maelstrom going down. Can he stun them underneath the turret and live? And a Noxian Guillotine cutting off his little Yordle head underneath the turret.
Oh, don't say that.
It's like the French Revolution, only with midgets.
Wow. That should be a musical. I would watch that. But yeah, that's really important for Curse to actually get that kill, you know. Get a little bit of momentum back in top lane. Darius wants to get as much momentum as he can. You know, the more powerful he is, the more powerful his ult is going to be, and then the more quad kills we can see him bust out in half a second. So, very important that he has at least some kind of momentum going into this mid-game.
Well, you can see, too, that what Westeros has been doing is the top lane triage build of several gold per 5 items, and that's going to be really effective to getting him back in this game. He is down a significant amount of CS, 40 to be precise, but he has picked up that second kill now, so he does have a mirror score. So if we take a look at the gold right now, we see 5,600. He's actually ahead of Kennen, probably because they got that dragon. But like I said, you know, those gold for 5 items, if you're losing in that top lane, he did exactly the right thing to kind of get back into it, sustain his way through, and he's actually ahead in gold of this Kennen, kind of against all odds. I did not expect to see that when I opened up that gold tab.
Yeah, we did see Pobelter trying to go in and do something onto the blue, but gonna get chased away by
Well, what do you think he was trying to do there?
Let me see if he has a point in Q before I say anything. No, he just wanted to scare them.
Okay.
He just wanted to scare them.
Too funny. Pobelter, balls of steel, man.
Yeah. More like Ball Belter.
Alright, and now we have Corky back in bottom lane. I'm surprised. I thought this laning phase would be mercifully over, but St. Vicious coming in, Burning Agony going down on Nat, and a Cleaver going down. Can they kill Afro? But the Janna ult, great ult there by Nat, will save Afromu with the Ignite on him. Pobelter now coming in too, but Nat will die for this for sure, and Afromu actually might go down too as punishment for using his ultimate. Pobelter, another brilliant absolute zero to hold him for a fraction of the second needed in order to secure that kill.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. It's very important. I've never in my life wanted to play support. I kind of want to go play Nunu right now.
That was very impressive use of Absolute Zero that we've seen from Pobelter this game. I am extraordinarily happy to see how well he's doing and see such an awesome ult be used for just a microsecond slow in order to catch up to them. Really thorough knowledge of that champion you can tell from Pobelter right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very well played by him. And we're seeing kind of the strength of that Nunu, you know? He is 1-4. He's died a couple times, which isn't the greatest thing in the world, but he's got that triple GP10 going right now. He's going to have a lot of income for quite a while. Going to be able to get those wards anyway. And he's transitioning to be a very important presence in these team fights and in these chases.
Yeah, Curse looks like he was going for the P-Bomb burst build. He never, you know, he's had I suppose that's why he's been chunking so hard along with that Sheen down there in bottom lane. And it looks like I was totally wrong, guys. He did pick up that Trinity Force, and now he has the pickaxe as well. So my theory about his incomplete Trinity Force going right out the window, looks like he just picked up that pickaxe for a little bit of extra damage there in the mid-game. And now as we're heading into the late mid-game, he should be able to pick up the rest of that eye edge, no problem.
Yeah, so just transitioning a little bit of damage here. We do see Pobelter getting a little bit caught out here in the top lane, but everybody from Curse is there to kind of protect him, be his little safety net, and it looks like Evo is going to have to go ahead and back out from that particular engagement.
Yeah, man, Pobelter gives no Fs these days, none at all. He's just running in, checking bushes with his face, and he just doesn't care. Comely, he just does not care.
He doesn't care at all. We do see the Banshee's Veil is picked up here onto Sorry, somebody just totally made me laugh. We did see on Night Jackie, we did see the Banshee's Veil pick up, which is going to be nice for him. You know, there's quite a bit of harassment, quite a bit of spells he would like to avoid over here on Team Evo, and so yeah, good times.
Good times indeed, and now the poke war will commence around this top turret. I don't really know why TSM.Evo really wants top turret right now. It seems like they could rotate to a different lane and probably have an easy time taking middle or bot instead of dealing with the Corki, Rise, Mundo poke, and Unstoppable. We're going to get Rune Prison, and now the machine gun spells of Rise just going out all over the place onto these frontline champions of TSM.Evo, and Pobelter continuing to spam his emotes.
Yeah, I mean, when they're that adorable, how can you not spam it? So, at least he's not Lux laughing.
Lux laughing is the best, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Oh, looks like we're finally going to have some action as Aphromoo takes a Rune Prison in the face, but nope, no follow-up from either team, and I'm not sure. I mean, I think that obviously the initiation here from TSM.Evo is superb, but the initiation from Curse is a little bit lacking. I mean, what do they got? Like a short-range Apprehend, a Rune Prison, and a Cleaver? I mean, it's not awesome.
Yeah, we are seeing like 50-minute Baron kind of prodding back and forth here. You know, this kind of standoff you don't really expect to see 23 minutes into the game at a first-tier tower.
I'm really surprised that we're actually seeing this. I think TSM.Evo has finally decided that, damn it, this isn't worth our time, so they're just going to go ahead and rotate mid and probably take that out extremely quickly, considering Ezreal already has a Trinity Force. No, they're going to hide. They're going to play hiding, and they're going to see if they can get an initiation on the jungle by tricking them into rotating. So are they going to be able to pull this Rise or not? There comes the Essence Flux. Oh, there comes the Unstoppable Force, and here we go. And Rise is just going to be blown up, and Aphromoo ulting up to Baron, hoping to steal it perhaps, or misclicking as the case may be.
Yeah, or predicting that someone is going to be standing in that bush right above them, trying to be a proactive player.
Aphromoo is, you know, one of the extraordinary AD carries here in North America these days. He's been showing such impressive play recently. It's been a pleasure. And Salsi getting a little bit caught out here. He's going to have to flash over that wall into River, and then they are going to be able to just run out, I think. The Laser Bird going down. No, they might actually catch Salsi. Wow, impressive. Salsi going down in a burst of damage from Darius Mundo. And now Westrice really getting back into this game. He has picked up he's picked up, interestingly, a Shirelia's Reverie. That's not an item I typically see on Darius, but I guess he had to build that Philo Stone into something, and might as well be that in order to help out his team a little bit and get his cooldowns a little bit lower.
Yeah, well, plus, you know, part of the weakness of that champion is that it's fairly easy to kind of kite him and just kind of get away from him, especially when it's pulled on cooldown. A very long cooldown on that ability, but if he has that ability to give himself a speed boost, he might not even be so worried about giving it to the rest of his team, which is a great side effect, but just thinking about it as kind of a mini ghost, I guess, so to speak, right? Really, really powerful in somebody like Darius.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great pickup, and it's really serving him well, for sure. It's just not something that I expected to see, but, you know, very creative use of that Philo Stone coming out of the top lane triage build that he had with the Philo Stone and the Heart of Gold. So it looks like now he's going to be building into probably Frozen Mallet coming out of this Phage. So we'll have to see what he goes back and picks up next, if he goes for that Giant Spell next. He does have the money for it currently, so... And let's take a look right now. Looks like we're going to be seeing... I'm kind of confused as to whether we're going to be seeing a Rylai's first or like a Zhonya's first out of Kennen. Looks like he's kind of got half of both right now. And Malphite picking up that Shirelia's as well. No surprise, he did go for those 3 gold for 5 items, and now he's going to be probably going for a Frozen Heart, I would imagine, sometime in the near future.
Yeah, not too surprising. I would suspect Kennen actually deciding that he needs to get that Zhonya's. You know, we saw him going for that Rylai's a little bit earlier and kind of switching gears here a little bit, probably deciding he needs to be able to land those ultimates a little bit more confidently and kind of live for the rest of the team fight, especially against somebody with high burst. You know, that Rise kind of Darius combo alone is able to pump out a lot of single target damage into somebody, as well as some nice AoE damage into the rest of their team, and he just doesn't want to get focused down immediately and kill, but he wants to get in there and stun as many people as possible.
Right, and looks like we might have another Dragon Dance here. And let's see what happens. Unstoppable still has that Oracles on him, and so they're going to probably be able to pick this up extremely easily. Looks like Curse has no vision on that side of the map, really, except for a solitary ward, although they do have deep ward penetration into TSM.Evo's top jungle. And they're actually going to try for Baron. Interesting gambit here. Pobelter going into the ramp, Salty getting blown up, and Ezreal coming across while Wings of Death comes in with Slicing Maelstrom into the brush in river. Aframu getting executed by Noxian Guillotine. Wings of Death taking the next guillotine to the face, and Salty going down as well. St. Vicious following up, and Curse Cop picking up a triple kill as he chases down the members of TSM.Evo one by one, and that should be a Baron. Let's see if St. Vicious' ult is in fact up. It is not right now, so they are going to have to do a little bit of the Baron dance trade damage to see who can survive. It'll be interesting to see. They will get this Baron quite easily with the damage they are putting out, no problem. So that will be a Baron Nashor for Curse, who is now up 9,000 gold with a 13-7 kill lead, and up 2 towers as well, 3-1.
So, two things that stood out to me in that team fight. The first one, Malphite hit an absolutely fantastic ultimate. You know, 4 targets got hit by it, almost a full 5, just a little bit off from that. And the second thing I noticed is that they weren't dying at all afterwards. And so what that tells me is that while this comp over here on Evo has a ton of AoE damage, they're really able to lock down a lot of people for a long time. They have a lot of CC, a lot of AoE. They don't necessarily have that single target finishing off ability, you know? Aframu trying to get in there, trying to be that force that has the really strong single target auto attack damage, you know, using his Qs, but it's just not enough to finish off these targets.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely like a really good, you know, kind of synopsis of the team that TSM.Evo has. And as I said, their initiation isn't the problem. In fact, they've had excellent initiation this entire game. Kennen has been able to lock them down with stuns, but there just isn't anything after the stun. What happens after the stun is Darius comes in with Noxian Guillotine and executes all of them.
Story of my life.
So, really nice job by Westrice there to come back in this game and make himself viable. He has picked up that Frozen Mallet now, and they are going to take down at least 1 turret here, but they shouldn't have problems. With their poke, they can siege forever. They're not really going to be able to engage under this turret, but since Corki has Trinity Force, he'll be able to poke down this turret relatively quickly with these rockets and Sheen procs.
Yeah. Yeah, the Baron buff is just so good at kind of sieging these towers now. They can just kind of sit out here, especially with somebody like Dr. Mundo, who's really able to kind of waddle in and out of the fight whenever he wants. It's going to be very difficult for Evo to kind of hold this tower and subsequently the inhibitor.
And it looks like that tower is going to be going down post-haste, and this inhibitor will follow suit, and then Curse will probably back off and pick off the remainder of these towers that they have not had the pleasure of destroying yet.
Yeah, that sums it up pretty well. I'm not sure I have anything to add to that analysis, but it looks like they are going to be able to go ahead and take this dragon down very easily as well, adding to their gold lead. We do see about 11,000 gold lead right now. 12,000 now. That is not a subtle amount, sir. That is not a subtle amount.
There's nothing subtle about it. It is the bowl in the china shop of subtlety. And looks like we have an Emblem of Valor. I'm wondering if we're going to see a Locket of the Iron Solari on Cursed Pobelter so he can be even more aggressive with little to no risk, considering he can just shield himself and his team up. And St. Vicious just going to face tank this turret. So, interesting choice there. He's going to face tank it without his AD carry. But they will come eventually to rescue him from the damage of taking 1,000 lasers to the face.
So just to put the kind of gold in perspective right now, we do have the Nunu over here for Curse out farming Aframu on that Ezreal, which says a lot about the direction the game is currently going.
Well, his 10 assists, of course, are very much helping him with that as well. And that is that is a shocking figure. And Salsi just going to get blown up after getting hit by Rune Prison on that turret. No chance there, and they should be able to pull the victory. And an Apprehend catching Aframu. Noxian Guillotine going down on him while he's been exhausted, and that will clear him out of this team fight while they take down the turret here in bottom lane at Nexus, or at Inhibitor, excuse me. And they're going to chase off and zone out the rest of the team and then quickly run over. Are they actually going to tank anything more? They're waiting for this minion wave. It has 2 super creeps. It's been clogged up in that middle lane for a bit. And now Curse is going to repeatedly taunt their opponents with those emotes. Corki and Nunu squeaking their rage at TSM.Evo.
Sometimes you got to squeak your rage, you know what I'm saying? A little bit of a BM ultimate here by the Nunu. A little bit of a BM taking the fountain as well. And GG, well played. Chris is going to take this game.
Very nicely done there by Curse, and now we are in the dreaded situation where we inch ever closer towards the 3-2 victories that we may be actually seeing in these tournaments, where all teams go 3-2, and then we have to figure out who beat who in the head-to-head and see how exactly teams are going to actually proceed to the next weekend. I don't think at this point that it is possible for CLGEU to advance. Oh, no, wait, it still is. If TSM.Evo wins their next match, I don't think it will be. I'm sorry, guys, I'm not looking at it right now. But that will put us in a very interesting position, and it all comes down to the results from this next match, really.
Yeah. Very exciting conclusion to the day, then.
Very exciting conclusion indeed. So we're just going to roll. We need to get into the next game, so I'm just going to go ahead and roll some commercials in the meantime, guys. So thanks. I'm Monte Cristo. With me is Conley. We will be casting the